Hey everybody, welcome back to today's video. We're going to be talking about today our oil brushes and how you can save money, which ones I recommend, and also how to buy them in order to not have to buy a ton of brushes, testing them all out. Like what's the best way to buy brushes in order to save money. So full disclosure, today's video is sponsored by Rosemary & Co. brushes. They have great brushes. And to be quite honest with you, they gave me 3 extra brushes in my order. So that's always great. I use their brushes all the time. I actually just spent $300 ordering a bunch of brushes. Actually asked them if they would throw in a couple brushes and I would do a review on their brushes. And so they gave me 3 extra filbert brushes, and that's great. I absolutely love them. I was actually refilling an order, so I just want to let you know that they are sponsoring and what that relationship is with them. They're a great company. They do make a great brush, and whether or not they sponsored this video, I would still be buying their brushes. So let's go ahead and go forward. So what we have here are some different oil brushes. And Rosemary brushes are great brushes. They are the best handmade brushes out there. They are great. They have no issues. They hold their shape well. And then you have some other and I have some other brushes that I recommend as well. And so you're wondering to yourself, well, how do I save money? So what you'll want to do if you're starting out in oil painting is you want to get just 3 of the same type of brushes. The reason you get 3 is because you have one for your light values, one for your middle values, and one for your dark values. And you keep those brushes separate as you paint. The reason you do that is if you start mixing the paint like light values with dark values or mid values with light values, your paint starts to get muddy and it starts to get kind of a brown, dirty looking to it. It just does, it looks flat, it looks dirty, it just has this weird look to it. So that's why you get 3 of the same when you're starting out, because you're consciously making that decision. Okay, these are my light colors. Okay, these are my mid colors. Okay, these are my light colors, and you're switching those brushes. So I had a teacher at the Academy of Art. He recommended getting flats. The reason is you have a bunch of different paint strokes within one brush, as long as you clean them and keep the shape. You have the corner right here that you can dab. You have this full line right here that you can hit that way. You can obviously go this way. You can dab like that. You can hit the corner with it. You can scrub along the side, and you can kind of twist it as well. And with round brushes, you really can't do that because it's just a point. Filberts, which I have right here, they really don't have that side for a point. You can use the top curve, but it's a little bit harder. And again, everybody's different. Some people like the filberts and they'll start with the filbert. But the idea is, whichever one you start with, get 3 of those. I would recommend getting a larger size, like a size 8, because if you have a big canvas, you don't want to have like a size 4, which is a super small paintbrush, and you have a canvas that's 9 by 12. You're going to be there forever, like trying to fill that area. So depending on the size of canvas you use, so like say this would be great for 9 by 12 because you just can cover a huge area, or even I think it's 11 by 14. 11 by 14 would be okay with this because you can cover a big area. And then so I would get an 8. And then I would get 3 of the like 4s, and that way you have brushes that can cover large areas, and those 4s can help you get in those details. And that's how you're going to save money. If you get 3 of the flats, you're going to know after a while, you're going to know if you like the flats. You're going to test them out, and you're going to like them or you're going to dislike them. And then if you dislike them, you try out the filberts. And same thing, get 3 large filberts and get 3 small filberts. And you're going to have to spend money no matter what. But what you're doing here is you're getting away with having to buy, okay, let me get 2 of each of the filberts from 0 all the way up to 14. That's going to cost you a lot of money. And then you're going to find out you don't like the filberts. Okay, well, let me get flats. Let me get 2 of the 0s all the way up to 14. Again, that's going to cost you a lot of money. So just pick a shape, get 6 of the brushes, get 3 large ones of the same size, 3 small ones of the same size, and test them out and see what you like. So as far as the recommendations, yeah, hands down, the best brushes out there, Rosemary brushes. They're handmade, and I know I sound like a commercial, and I'm sorry, but they're great brushes. They're handmade, they last a long time, they're awesome. Now the cool thing about these, some of them are expensive, but some of them are actually comparable to the brushes that I have over here in the sense of price. Sometimes you can find them for about the same price. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive and sometimes they're not. So these are great brushes, good brushes to have. So if you're saying to yourself, well, Michael, I'm just starting out, I don't need Rosemary brushes. Totally fine, I get that. If you're just starting out and you're saying you don't want to get Rosemary brushes, fine brushes, don't worry about it. What I would recommend are these Princeton Series 6300. Great brushes to start out with. These are what I started out with when I went to the academy. These are what my teacher recommended to me. I was going through a bunch of different brushes. Some of them were too hard. Well, some of them were way too soft. He recommended these, and they were great. The Princeton 6300F. He recommended flats, and actually, I think these are the same ones. These are actually a size 10. So I know I kept saying size 8. I would get some of the size 10, and then I would get size, I think the other size was 6 that I got. So get 3 of size 10 and 3 of size 6, and you're going to be set. These are great brushes. And as you're learning, these are going to be okay for portraits as well. And as you get better, you're going to find that you want a softer brush for portraits, and you're going to end up just using these for landscapes. If you want a softer brush for portraits, I recommend these from Blick. These are great. These are from Utrecht, but Blick bought out Utrecht. These are great. They're very soft, and these are great for portraits and doing people to kind of give that soft look on their face. Beautiful brushes. And these are very inexpensive as well. I wouldn't recommend these for landscapes. The brushes are too soft. You can use them for landscapes as you get better, but I find as a beginner, when you're trying to figure everything out, it's just another strike against you. They're really soft, so when you're getting in there trying to put paint and texture, it isn't going to go on right, and it's not going to go on thick. Whereas as a beginner, these Princetons, you can get a lot of paint. It's a really stiff bristle, and it's going to get a lot of paint, and you're going to feel like you can really move it around. Whereas these are going to really collapse on you. Now, the crazy thing that I realized about these Rosemary brushes, these are the classical. These are the classical ones, classical ivory. Love these. The cool thing about these that's weird is I can use these for landscapes and portrait. They're soft enough to use for portrait, and they're hard enough to use for landscapes. They're just an awesome brush. And I'd highly recommend them. But again, overall, the idea here is to figure out how to save money on brushes. So the plan is to just pick a shape, whether it's filbert or flat, get a few of those brushes, same size, 3 of the 10s, 3 of the 6s, and test them out. And as you test them out, you're going to find out if you like them or not. I highly recommend getting the flat because it's going to be very versatile. The amount of strokes you can get out of this, you can even like scrub it flat against that. When you start painting, it's not just this. It's not just the tip of the brush to this, and you're doing that. I mean, it's like you're scrubbing it. You're going this way. You're going that way. It's like you're cruel to this brush. It's going to lose its shape over time. But that's what you want. You want to just make all kinds of effects with this brush. So the idea is just to get a bunch of the same brushes, test them out, and if you like them, great. If you don't like them, try the filberts out. I know I'm leaving out round brushes. This is just my opinion. I feel like with the round brush, which I do have, you're going for a very precise aesthetic when you're doing that. and you're not able to like lay down a lot of paint. You have to like get a really fat round brush, and the fatter the round brush, the more expensive it gets. Whereas this brush right here, I think was $6, and it's super fat, and I can lay down a lot of paint. And then as the size of your canvas gets bigger, if I get an 18 by 24 canvas, this isn't going to be my fat brush. I'm probably going to want to get a 12 or a 14 or a 16, because the idea is to have like a fat brush to lay down a lot of paint, and that way you're not like using a size 2 on an 18 by 24. It's like using a color crayon to paint a wall. You don't want to do that. You want to have the biggest brush that you can to like lay down the paint. So I hope that video helped you out on which brushes to get. If it did, definitely leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Definitely leave a comment in the comment section below of things that you would like to see in the future, reviews or how-tos. And again, all the items I'm reviewing here are linked in the description below, as well as a link to Rosemary's website. They have great brushes there. Definitely check them out. And we'll see you in the next video. Is you have a bunch of different strokes within this one brush. You can go flat with the full tip. You can hit the corner right there as I flip you off. Right? Did you see that? Great. That's awesome. you can use so.